Hello and welcome back to another breaking news update. My name is Jimmy Boyd and you are watching Boyd News. I want to thank you so much for tuning in today. I've got breaking news coming out here for you, and I want to bring you an update regarding Ukraine and this war against Russia. So I've got some information talking about Ukraine that's kind of scary. Could they potentially lose this war here very soon? Okay, I've got lots of things to show you that puts Ukraine in a really bad spot right now. We know they have basically been depleted of air defense. They've been under a massive Russian missile attack lately, and they're not able to defend many of these attacks. So I've got some crazy information to go over. Just want to talk about a few things real quick. Take a look at this. This is on AP. It says Ukraine will be outgunned by Russia 10-1 in weeks without US help, says top Europe general. Okay, so something I'll mention about this is, so for one, we know that they're very, very low on air defense. If anything, they almost have no air defenses right now. That's how bad things are. I just reported like a week or two ago that they were low on air defense. Now we're getting reports that they're basically depleted. They have almost no air defense, okay? No artillery, no nothing. How are they going to continue to fight this war if they don't have anything to defend themselves with? And this aid package, like 61 billion, is held up in Congress right now, and they're not getting the funding that they need. So they're going to be struggling here for quite some time. And we know that they're backpedaling like crazy right now. There's lots of reports of the front line is beginning to collapse. I forget near the town. It's called like Chasiv Yar or something like that. I can't remember the name. Something like that. And they're not doing well right now. So while everybody's focused on the Middle East, Ukraine is completely collapsing over here and falling apart, and they're not able to maintain this war going forward without any support from the West. So I have an article we're going to go over here, and then we're also going to go over a few expos as well, okay? So we're just going to briefly read over some of this. I'm not going to read the entire thing. I will cite it down below. I'll just kind of give you the important points here. Ukraine digs defenses, fears it could lose war without U.S. aid as Russia steps up attacks. So it goes on to say here, force back, Ukraine is now digging in to stop a collapse across the war's front lines as Russian attacks and American delays leave Kiev and its allies to confront the possibility of a painful defeat. So look at that. They're talking about defeat now already. A 61 billion aid package has been stuck in Congress for months, leaving Ukraine exposed on the front lines, running out of ammunition and men, while its energy system now faces an onslaught that is exposing its depleted air defenses. So you see what I mean? Depleted air defense. Their energy system has been hammered lately. I just did lots of reports. There was a major thermal power plant that was struck near Kiev that put like 200,000 people out of power. Okay, there's been the power plants in Odessa getting struck or nearby Odessa, Kharkiv. Okay, many major areas where lots of people live, the energy system is completely getting destroyed by Russian missiles. Okay, so the shortage forced Kiev's military to withdraw from a key eastern city in February. And with no progress in Washington, Ukrainian soldiers are now desperately trying to hold on to their positions along some 600 miles of the front line. Nothing has changed. We did not have any shells then. We don't have any now, said Artillery Sergeant Andriy, who was part of Kiev's retreat from Avdiivka in February after months of intense fighting. The Russians continue to push in packs without stopping. Andriy, who did not want his last name revealed as he was not authorized to speak publicly, told NBC News last week. Ukrainian leaders backed up by Western officials are pushing Republicans to break the logjam before it's too late, fearing the Kremlin could seek to take advantage by launching a new offensive over the summer or sooner. So here's a picture of a firefighter there. All right, so they understand that we are in a very weak position right now, said Oleksandra Ustinova, a member of Ukraine's parliament who chairs the country's Wartime Oversight Commission on monitoring aid. Americans understand that as well. They understand that we literally have nothing to shoot with, she said in a phone interview this week. On Wednesday, that message was echoed by the top U.S. general in Europe. So they've got nothing to shoot with, guys. Nothing. So they're basically no longer in this fight. So any minute now, Ukraine could just completely collapse and lose this war is what it seems like to me. They're in a very, very bad position right now. along with their energy infrastructures, is just completely being destroyed. They just boosted their troop numbers again. They passed a law to basically conscript more people and to get more people into the military. Although we just had completely different reports stating that they supposedly had like 1 million troops or something. So if they had 1 million troops, why do they got to conscript another 500,000 into the military? It doesn't make any sense. So Russia's currently firing 5 artillery shells for every 1 fired by Ukrainian forces, and that disparity could increase in the coming weeks from 10 to 1, said General Christopher Cavoli, commander of the European Command. He told Congress that Ukraine will run out of artillery shells and air defense interceptors in a fairly short order without U.S. support, leaving it vulnerable to partial or total defeat. Look at that. Huge, huge news. So I will cite this. You guys can read the rest of this down below if you want to. But I just wanted to get that important information out there to show you that Ukraine, they are in a very bad spot right now. Probably the worst that they have been throughout this entire war. And it's only continued to get worse for them as time goes on. So, let me know what you think down below in terms of Ukraine, but they're not in a good spot right now, okay? I've got several other things to show you now. We're going to switch gears and move over to some X posts, okay? Some extra information here on X. Anton Gerashenko says Lukashenko said that Ukraine and the West should start negotiations with Russia. This is the president of Belarus. Today is the moment, first of all, for Ukrainians to sit down at the negotiating table and finally to come to an agreement, Lukashenko said. Why today? Why is the president of Belarus saying that Ukraine should come to the negotiating table and basically give up now? It kind of matches up with what we're seeing with the news that's being reported on Ukraine, that they're basically screwed, okay? And I've said this before. Let's say they pass this aid for Ukraine now. It's going to take time to get those supplies to the front line. Ukraine is they're almost at the point here where they're almost screwed, okay? And it's really bad. So let's take a look at this video.
С точки зрения дипломатического, вы же понимаете, к чему это? Мне кажется, что сегодня момент, это прежде всего для украинцев и для Запада, сесть за стол переговоров и окончательно договориться. Принцип один. Путин в этом плане молодец. Он не отступает от своих прежних заявлений. Документы есть, они парафированы и российской, и украинской стороной. Давайте вернемся к этим документам и от этого будем плясать. Или остановимся на тех принципах, которые заложены в документах. Что неправильно? Правильно, поэтому очень хороший момент для Украины и кураторов украинских принять решение. Его надо принимать.
Okay, so it almost kind of sounds like to me, if you read what he's talking about here, that he's kind of giving the Ukrainians an ultimatum here that if they don't give up now, they're going to be in some deep doo-doo here. Okay, they're going to be in big trouble because they don't have ammunition, they don't have artillery, they don't have air support, they don't have air defense. Okay, and now their energy infrastructures has been completely demolished throughout majority of the major populated areas of Ukraine. So is that what he's trying to warn here? Is he trying to tell Ukraine to give up now while they have the chance? I mean, this is about to get really crazy over here, and we're really at an inflection point where a turning point is going to happen here in this war. But not only here, but now what we're seeing, what's happening in the Middle East right now. The Middle East is bursting into flames at the moment while I record this video. I'm also covering that story over there with Israel. They're about to be coming under attack by Iran, maybe even right now while I'm recording this. So it's very crazy what we're seeing here. Things are just spiraling out of control and just completely just really bad, okay? Just really bad throughout the entire world. Like, I'm almost at a loss for words. I don't even know how to describe how bad this is. But things are just so bad across the world, and we're just about to see war erupt everywhere. And just in terms of Ukraine here, they're screwed, okay? They're in a very bad position. I'm going to show you more information that shows that right now. Take a look at this from Peacemaker. Nuclear emergency in Poland after Russian Kh-47 Kinzhal supersonic missile attack. 17 billion cubic meters of natural gas blown up near Lviv. So I believe this is what this happened, or I'm not 100%, but I believe it happened on the day that that major power plant near Kiev got destroyed. I reported on this just, I think, 2 days ago. So I believe this may have happened around the same time. If not, it happened recently in the last couple days. Ukraine is finished. From an energy point of view, 17 billion cubic meters of natural gas were blown up from an underground reservoir at a depth of 50 meters. At dawn, Russia achieved the largest strategic strike in Ukraine in history when it destroyed the largest underground gas storage in, I'm going to butcher this, but Bilche Volitsko Uher in the city of Sturjak near Lviv. I think it's Lviv or Lvov, I'm not sure. With Kh-47 Kinzhal supersonic missiles and Kh-101 cruise missiles, along with 17 billion cubic meters stored gas. The attack came from 3 different sides. The destruction of natural gas, combined with Russia's inability to supply new gas, means that Ukraine is done from an energy perspective. A total of 8 MiG-31 fighters carrying Kinzhal and Kh-101 aircraft hit the stack, causing a nuclear-like mushroom cloud visible from Poland, 100 kilometers from the Ukrainian border. The tank was located at a depth of 50 meters from the surface of the earth, which did not prevent Kinzhal from going through the stony ground like a knife through butter and exploding into the tank. In Poland, radiation measurements began after what initially appeared to be a nuclear attack there, but this has not been confirmed. The country currently has less than half of its gas reserves, and after the destruction of the reservoir, it cannot be supplied from the European market. The attack on this underground gas reservoir was confirmed by the Ukrainian company Zdroj 24 News. So I did hear a lot about this. There's lots of people reporting that there was this gas reservoir on the western side of Ukraine near Lviv. Okay, and this area near Lviv has come under attack multiple times by the Russians over the last few weeks and last few months. And there was even that time, I don't know if you remember me reporting, if you follow this channel, I reported a cruise missile that went into Polish territory, turned around and came back and struck a target near Lviv. I don't know if this is what was being attacked, but we've had lots of attacks near Lviv, and at some point, this 17 billion cubic meters of natural gas went up into flames. And like I said, their energy infrastructure in Ukraine is just completely being demolished. They're struggling with energy in all sectors, okay? Multiple energy companies. I think there's one called Centrenergo and another one called DTEK in Ukraine reporting massive losses of energy due to their infrastructure being destroyed. Okay, so also I want to talk about this. Let's talk about their soldier count for a moment. So Zelensky recently said Ukraine had 880,000 soldiers and also claimed they had only lost 31,000 from Zimbo Fractal. But he now urgently needs 500,000 new soldiers. Yes, indeed, the math doesn't add up. So we were just talking about this. So yeah, I heard from Zelensky as well, I don't know, a couple months back, that they had 880,000 soldiers. And then at one point they talked about the death count during this war. And he said, oh, it was only like 31,000 that died. But then all of a sudden they need 500,000 more new soldiers to fight this war. Doesn't make any sense, but in a way it does, because we do know that Russia is also boosting their military close to like 1.5 million by the end of the year. I've done reports on that as well. So there's just a quick clip, 4 seconds of him stating that. So let's see.
Але у нас 880 тисяч, у нас мільйонна армія. Але у нас 880.
Okay, so there it is, him saying that right there, 880,000, almost a million strong army. So this was not too long ago that he was talking about this, saying that they had this super strong army, 880,000. Even Oleksandr Syrsky, the commander of the Ukrainian armed forces, came out and said, told Zelensky, no, we don't need to conscript 500,000 more people. We're fine. We've got plenty of troops. And then all of a sudden, weeks later, complete 180. Yes, we need to conscript another 500,000 people and push them into the military. The lawmakers of Ukraine also announced that they were going to be reducing the age of conscription limit from 27 to 25, I believe. So that was going to access a whole, number of hundreds of thousands of people they could potentially conscript into the military. So lots of big signs here that Ukraine is doing a lot worse than what we're being told and what Zelensky is telling the world as well. But we do know, at least at the bare minimum, that they're basically depleted on air defense, which already is a number one sign that they're basically screwed here, like I said, because they can't even defend their energy infrastructure if they don't have air defense. So they've been calling for that numerous times, saying we need Patriot missiles, and they're not getting them. So finally, I want to show you this one last clip. This is from Tucker Carlson back from August 2023, somewhere around that time. He was in an interview here talking about the fact that he believed that the U.S. would go to direct hot war with Russia within the next year. Look at exactly where we're at right now. Look at what's going on with the Middle East. And obviously Russia has some ties there too, because we know that Russia was moving troops to the Golan Heights region of Syria to boost their presence in that region. We know that Russia works all throughout Syria as well. And I know that Iran is wanting to retaliate against Israel right now, which they could be doing that as of today or even right now while I record this. So just take a look at this, and it's a 3-minute clip, but I want you to see what he has to say and look at how things are lining up with what's going on in the world.
States afraid they're going to do COVID and mask mandate. They're not going to do that. They can't do that. If they've already been exposed, that won't work. There's going to be, no, what are they going to do? They're going to go to war with Russia. Is what they're going to do. There will be a hot war between the United States and Russia in the next year. And
really?
Yes, of course. They want it anyway. I don't think we'll win it, but that's a separate analysis. But I think it's a political matter. They need to declare war footing in order to assume war powers in order to win. I believe that. And I think the evidence suggests that's true. So if you're worried about our politics getting like even more vicious than it already is, and people being hurt in our politics, which is entirely possible, you should be worried about the prospect of an open war. We're already at war with Russia, of course. We're funding their enemies. So we're fighting Russia. But I mean, an open battle with Russia where we say we're at war with Russia. I think that could easily happen. I think we could Tonkin Gulf our way into it, where all of a sudden missiles land in Poland. The Russians did it. Our NATO ally has been attacked. We're going to war. I could see that happening very easily. So if you're worried about that, you need to put as much pressure as you possibly can on the Republican-held Senate to force a peace, which can be done. The United States could force a peace in Ukraine tonight. We're funding one side. There is no Ukrainian army outside of NATO. If NATO withdrew its support for Ukraine, Ukraine would crumble in a day. So we are the only power in the world that can bring both sides to the table to force a peace, which will be unsatisfactory as all forced peaces are. Like each side will give more than it wants, but that's the only option. Otherwise, I would bet my house on it. We are going to war with Russia. And of course, the stakes are everything, our life on the planet. I mean, these are the two biggest nuclear arsenals in the world facing off against each other. So like, this is insane. They're insane. These are people who think men can become women, who believe that face masks save you from COVID. I mean, these are not rational people. Would they go to war with Russia? Of course they would. Again, they want to anyway. And I don't know why Republicans don't get this at all, but they don't seem to get it. And meanwhile, Republican leaders, and Mitch McConnell's senile too, so I don't even blame him, but all the stupid Republican senators and McCarthy in the House, I mean, it's pathetic. These people are all on board with the war against Russia. Why? That our global enemy is Russia. And I really think they mean that. And certainly the Republicans mean it. You know, the Nikki Haley, Mike Pence, you know, the low IQ wing of the Republican Party, which is most of the Republican Party, is low IQ at the leadership level. They all think that and they mean it. And like, someone needs to slap them awake. You're leading this country to its destruction. We've already lost control of the world. The American empire's in free fall right now, and we're going to lose the US dollar. And when that happens, we're going to have real poverty here, like Great Depression level poverty. And it comes from this war. And I don't understand why no one else can see this, but it's super obvious once you leave. Spend a week in Europe and talk to smart people on both sides. Like, it doesn't matter what their politics are, and ask them, like, what effect do you think the war in Ukraine has had on American leadership in Europe? Dude. And by the way, Western Europe is our only reliable ally in the world. We only have one real ally. and that's Western Europe. And Western Europe is being destroyed by this. The German economy was crushed when the Biden administration blew up Nord Stream. I know nobody cares, but if you think like long term about this, they're really kicking the legs out from under this country in a way that is not possible to repair, at least in the short term.
All right. Well, I just wanted you to see that and get a good look at what he had to say there. I wanted to also just give credit.
COVID and
give credit to Richard here. So Rick WE123 for posting this. Thank you for posting that so we could check out this video. But yeah, I mean, think about that. Think about the fact that we are so close to war throughout the entire world. I mean, okay, there's lots of signs of war coming, and we've had lots of warnings from defense ministers all throughout Europe and, you know, presidents. It doesn't matter. Donald Trump has come out and said this. Everybody's come out and said this. Tucker Carlson, that war was coming. Okay, now look at where we're at. So how is the U.S. going to be able to step into the Ukraine war, or NATO step into the Ukraine war, when all this is going on in the Middle East now? This is like perfect timing for this Middle East war to break out, so Russia can take advantage of this situation. China may want to move on Taiwan. North Korea may want to move on South Korea. Okay, like we're really at an inflection point here where things can really pop off and get crazy. And I just want you to understand this, that we're at a very dangerous time right now where we could literally wake up tomorrow and we're in a completely different world. So let me know what you think down below. I just wanted to bring you an update regarding Ukraine and let you know what's going on over here, but they're in a very bad position and it's getting worse by the day. So just stay on your tippy toes here and pay attention to what's going on, because at some point, one or more of these wars could definitely affect all of us here, and it's not going to be fun when that happens. So let me know what you think down below in the comments. That's going to be it for this update. If you got something out of this, please smash that like button. And also, if you enjoy my content, please consider subscribing down below. Hit the notification bell, that way YouTube can notify you. And with that, I hope you all have a great day. Everybody take care and God bless, and we'll see you in the next one.